I don't think it's a doing problem any longer. I think you already know what to do. But that is the problem in itself. I find with intelligent people, I like to consider myself intelligent, that we want all the knowledge before we actually apply action to something, whatever that something may be. We want all the data to make sure and relieve possibly any insecurity we have. And whatever we're trying to explain or convey, it comes off that we are experts in that area, that we know what we're talking about. But the paradox to this is you learn more in the process of action rather than gaining knowledge and doing nothing with it. In fact, the longer we wait, what happens? We start to stress ourselves, more anxiety. We start to overthink about, is this something we should even be doing? And along with that brings more stress, anxiety, things that don't help us and our progress of what we're trying to achieve. So moving towards action, closing the gap when you gather knowledge and actually applying the action immediately, you figure out a few things in that process. You realize, okay, was my knowledge sufficient enough to explain what it is that I'm trying to do? If not, you learn through that process. You can look at it as failure, but failure isn't negative. Failure is required for growth. A lot of people look at failure as, oh shit, I need to give up. I wasn't good at it. That's not what it is. You have to fail in order to grow. As intelligent as we like to think of ourselves, a lot of people will look at us from the outside and think that we're lazy. And I don't like that frame of thought because we are just more precise about doing things, but lack the action and the urgency. Again, this is something I learned from my own experience about gathering as much as I can before actually applying action. It can convey laziness and procrastination. And that's not necessarily untrue. There is some truth to that. But what I find personally is that I was trying to get as much information as possible with everything. And then once I had that, I wanted to do everything at once. But of course, in that process, it presents a new problem. I wasn't being able to laser in and focus on one thing that I wanted to achieve. I wanted to achieve everything at the same time. I wanted to be great in everything. And that has the opposite effect. You end up losing your pure focus, all the knowledge you've gathered. While doing something, you're simultaneously thinking about the other things that you need to do. And of course, along came with that more stress, more anxiety again. The solution to all of this is just applying the action at the point that we have enough foundational knowledge and information, and obviously feel secure in ourselves to explain or do whatever it is that we're trying to do. And this is something that led me to really do more research into why our minds work like this. And there's something called cognitive failure. And without going and giving you all the science behind it, it basically means that we're expecting a reward from our actions. And when we don't achieve it, we feel deflated. So getting all the information that we need before acting, not closing that gap, we feel this cognitive failure because we are unrewarded for the work and effort that we did to attain this knowledge because we didn't apply action. The solution is in the action. And there's something else called loss of agency, which basically means you don't feel that fulfillment. You feel helpless. You feel like everything that you've done, there's nothing you can do with it. But that's the problem. It's the doing aspect. You already know what to do. It's just doing it. I like to view the human body and mind in its totality as a company, if you will. I look at everything in our body as employees, the trillions of cells and the bacteria and the entire nervous system. These are all employees working for us. And I say this because I always try to look at what can I do to improve this operating system. If I improve the operating system, it'll improve every aspect of my life. And what I found is that some form of fitness that is challenging to you or challenging to me in this aspect is rewarding in itself because it's pushing my body and my mind to limitations that I didn't want to do, but I'm doing it anyways. There's a couple things that happen here. The first thing is there's a sense of reward from achieving something that was challenging. And then the second thing is everything else in life seems and feels easier. Even though nothing has changed, it's basically hacking your brain for all these feel-good chemicals. Again, there's so much information on dopamine and increasing dopamine through fitness. But whatever you choose to do in terms of exercise or fitness, it needs to be challenging. So if you already go to the gym, going to the gym is not challenging if you already do it. But doing an exercise that you don't want to do, doing some kind of circuit training that you know is difficult, that's the challenging aspect in going to the gym. Walking is not challenging, but the length of your walk can be challenging. And I want to leave you with a quote from Batman Begins. I'm a nerd at heart, so I feel obligated. I got to share the nerd side of me. There is a scene where Rachel Dawes, which is Bruce Wayne's girlfriend, she doesn't know he's Batman yet. They are at a restaurant and she sees that he's with his fancy car and he's being flamboyant, and he's trying to explain to her that he is more than meets the eye. And what she says to him is, it's not who you are underneath, but what you do that defines you. All the knowledge that you have means nothing if you can't apply action to it, if you can't give this knowledge to someone else, if you can't take this knowledge and use it in your life. Sitting in your mind does nothing. So move forward with action. Move forward with defining who you are through everything that you've learned and applying it to your life.